So let's begin by having a look at the line graph here. You've seen this before. So let's today though look at how the writer is introducing the paragraphs. So we have the words there, the same as we've just practiced before, those words coming in general, more specifically, which is telling the reader, now I'm going to give you some data. And then just the word both is indicating that that paragraph will be talking about two of the main features in the line graph. Now with a bar chart like this with 12 pieces of data that you can see there, it can be awkward to think about the organization. So just spend a little time considering how this person is organizing their task 1 writing. And as the red lines draw up, you see that the person has noticed that and they've decided that that's going to be the focus. So they're using language there that shows clearly that they're going to talk about high and then low. Now that's mentioned in the general statement and then in the first phrase of both of the body paragraphs. Can you organize the information differently? Yes, there are alternatives. You could have discussed each year or at the 2-year periods, or you could have discussed males first and then females. However, if you're going to decide to do that, you must do it before you write. You cannot decide once you've started writing. It will take too much time. The person did not do that because they considered it better to focus on the high and then the low data. There was a clear difference there in that way. So that became the trend, and it's much easier to explain and describe a bar chart, a line graph, any kind of task 1 if you're very clear about what the trends are. Again, the red line's coming in to show you that idea. Now, we've got some other words now. These are examples of cohesive devices now. So first of all, just go quickly through that and try and find those words, similar, likewise, and the phrase a similar amount to that of. And here they are. So similar for both genders is just a good example of a cohesive device. Here, they're both genders as meaning males and females, and that they're similar. As this is good language as well to be using there. In the third paragraph, I've used two similar ideas, likewise and a similar amount. So they're actually using two words there that have the same meaning to show a variety of linking between sentences, and also so that it's coherent, so it makes sense that you know that the next information is similar to what we've just been talking about. If you keep your data similar and the paragraph is all about similar data, it's much easier for the reader to understand. Now, don't go back or you'll find the answers. It's pretty easy if you do that. So just have a look here. We've got 5 phrases relating to time. Where would you put them? They're not in order. So have a look. What do you think is A, B, C, D, and E? And so here are the answers. So this is good use of substitution for time, and it's quite an easy thing to do in a bar chart or a line graph. Line graphs almost always over time, so you can use these kinds of time substitution phrases in the first of these years. You see that used there, and then almost the same down in the third paragraph in each of the 3 years, referring to 1970, 71, 80, 81, and 1990, 91. Good phrases to use. Okay, 10 years later is a good one at the end as well. That's substituting for 1990 or 1991. So let's do exactly the same now in terms of referencing and substitution for males and females. So notice that in the diagram, in the bar chart, it shows you the word male and female, but the person never uses those words. They're using other words, other vocab, other phrases. Can you see? So here they are, and we see a lot of phrases there. Now, when they're considering both males and females, they're using both genders. Can you see that there? Lots of use of those is mentioned at the top there. And also sometimes it's just okay to say men and woman as well. Okay, so they're using that too. Down the bottom, they've got just a simple referencing word they. Don't forget that the basic referencing words are it, they, them, these, those, this number. Those phrases are fine to use as well. And referencing. They're good examples of referencing. So we're focusing today on substitution really because it's a bit more complicated. Referencing is a bit easier to use really. But don't make mistakes with referencing with singular and plural nouns. If you're combining data, you should be using these numbers, for example.